Hello everyone, welcome back to Webcam Wrestling, which still is not being filmed on a webcam, ironically. Today I'm going to be doing my review for Clash of Champions 2019. Remember when it was called Night of Champions? That was fun. Anyway, I actually was able to see this event live, so if there's any kind of unique commentary or things of that sort, I haven't gone back, might not ever go back to watch the actual taping of it. So yeah, this is gonna be a perspective of someone in the crowd, in the cheap ass seats, as like cheap as it fucking gets. I was literally at the top of this fucking stadium. But yeah, let's just go into it. Clash Champions. As far as like keeping up with Raw and the rivalries and everything, it's weird. Like ever since Heyman and Bischoff have really gotten a hold of the television programs, like you can see a very physical change in quality. It has been much better in my opinion. There's still a lot of dumb shit. I'm sure there's a lot of shitty writers who still got their ideas and stuff, but for the most part, I see a very big noticeable change on Raw. That being said, I as a wrestling fan am not fleeting, but I'm not like I'm not fighting for my attention to be held. I'm gonna let my attention, go. I'm gonna let it take me. And thankfully, there's a lot of shit like Becky Lynch and The Fiend and characters who I care about. And Sasha Banks returning and all these other things. That's like, oh, you gotta watch that. There's new interesting storylines that are actually taking hold. 24/7 belt. There's a lot of good shit to pay attention to, and I haven't been able to say that all year, so I'm happy. Kofi Kingston as WWE champion. I have to see what happens there. But anyway, so a lot of these rivalries I was able to follow. Some I didn't really follow. Didn't really, the AJ Cedric feud, the tag team with Dolph and Robert Roode, that kind of stuff. A lot of it I'm not super familiar with, and a lot of these feuds they didn't even build up, like the New Day and the Revival and shit like that, but whatever. Let's just get into it. The pre-show, I'll finally actually be able to talk about the pre-show for once. I saw my first like cruiserweight show I guess it was my second one seen live, but this one I was kind of wanting a little bit more. I didn't actually know who was fighting. It was a triple threat match. I was like, I knew Drew was the champion, Drew Gulak, and he was fighting Lince Dorado and Humberto Carrillo. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I feel like that's more disrespectful to pretend like I know the dude. But this was a decent match. As far as cruiserweights go, Drew isn't like the best high flyer dude. I mean, part of that is because he's a heel, but like, I've noticed like not as many like fancy flips as it was like with Buddy Murphy or guys like that. Even like guys like Cedric seem to be have a lot more flips in their game. And on top of that, there was some awkward chemistry between these guys. There at one point, I forget who. Someone had a dude and he literally just threw it at the other dude, and the other dude was like vaguely kind of like, oh yeah, and the awkward pinfall where was it Lindsay whose shoulders were down at the end? See, it was kind of a forgettable match for me personally. Drew retains, cool, not 205 Live is ending, so unless I go back in my historian fucking ways, I'm never gonna watch it. So, never have, never will, I guess, unless I decide to merit. I mean, it's over now. That is kind of like an achievement to go for at this point, now that it's gonna be over soon, but whatever. Another match I did not expect to be on pre-show with AJ versus Cedric. Putting AJ on the pre-show. But, yeah, this... I liked how AJ said, I'm going to do this one on my own, guys. He fights Cedric on his own. But he fucking buries this guy. And a part of me feels like, he's got a high-profile match with AJ Styles. He's getting all this TV time. They're pushing Cedric Alexander. He's a hometown boy here in Charlotte. For whatever reason, they had AJ hit him with the Styles Clash on the outside, roll him in, get the 2 count, pull his shoulder up because he's not done with him, beats him down, Styles Clash again, phenomenal forearm 2, 1, 2, 3, the club come out, decimate him some more. Like, what the fuck? Like, as far as booking goes, he was buried. He definitely looked strong at certain points and was getting a lot of offensive, but like, once the match was done, it was done. Kind of a burial, man. I'm not like super upset by it. I do think Styles is kind of in a considerable league over Cedric, like on terms of like character and how the company has treated him. But like how big of a star would Cedric have been if he would have got over AJ on this one, you know? But whatever. Following that, the opening match, we had Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins defending their tag titles against Roode and Ziggler. And I guess, because I didn't see the Braun and Seth thing going on too much longer, and I thought, like, hey, the reason maybe they're doing that thing where they build a tag team by giving them the title. That seems to be what they did. And I'm still not fully with it. I do think Roode and Ziggler have like kind of the same schmarmy heel antics, and they both are great wrestlers who like need more shit to do. So I'm not upset by it. It's just this is one of those stories that really needed more TV time. But you know, it was amazing. It was mainly used as a prop for the main title. It's okay. It's whatever. I just don't like hop-shotting the tag belts around like they do. But, you know, it was a decent match. I like that Bobby Roode got over. That was cool. Got the glorious DDT. Made Seth look like a bitch. And then we got Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. Yeah, all the 4 horsewomen, like, there was no conclusive victories going around, but they're really protecting these 4 girls, and they're obviously, like, it's not like some characters are getting let down, or like how it used to be where it was like Bayley and Becky were down here and Charlotte and Sasha were up here. It's a lot more even now. This is probably the most even it's ever been. Becky especially is like the only one who's kind of on top right now. But Bayley and Charlotte, they have a decent match here. It's definitely not a decisive match. It's probably going to keep going. Bayley's turning heel. This is like a slow burn heel turn. But this at the same time, Charlotte is kind of refusing to turn face. Like, even on her, like, her Instagram or social media, she was like, I'm not a heel or a good guy. I'm a, like, tweener, basically. But at the same time, like, they obviously want you. Maybe it's just Charlotte. Maybe she just doesn't want to be fucking face. The hometown, well, she's not even from Charlotte anymore, but the hometown hero, you know, gets cheered here. You're fighting a heel, and she's still doing, like, these heel antics, like, forcing the ref to, like, open the ropes for her, and I'm just like, God, like, but whatever. But Bayley won heel. She exposed the bottom turnbuckle while nobody was looking, slammed Charlotte into it. It was like immediate knockout. Honestly, I'm very happy with that finish. I think if this is going to continue, that's a perfect way to do it. It caught everybody off guard. It makes Bayley look exactly how she needs to look, and Charlotte doesn't look super weak. You know, it's a cheating way to win. I'm okay with it. Other than that, you know, they had a decent match. It was short. It was like a couple minutes, but it was what it was. We had, after that, the Revival taking on the New Day. Again, they're moving the belts around too much, but I'm not disappointed by it because the Revival got a win, and they had this pretty damn good after the match promo, where they really just kind of milked in the New Day's defeat. And they won with such, like, vile heel Like, this is probably the best they've ever looked in the entire run they've had on the main roster. Not only with that promo, but like the ending, that was definitely something that'll stick with you. With Xavier, who was injured via his knee or leg or whatever, and he's being, they take out Big E on the outside, and then, like, fucking Xavier is forced to stare at Dawson. My TV turned off. I was using it for lighting. Whatever. No, it's way too dark in here now. Fuck that. Fuck that. Okay. But yeah, the ending was great. The New Day, I don't like how they're kind of separating Kofi and the other members of the New Day as much as they are. But again, the Revival looked pretty great here. I didn't think that we'd ever get them to as far as they've come after they kind of got buried a while back. But they really are turning things around. Again, that might be a Paul Heyman thing, but they're like part comedy act also, and they're able to make that work. I think that's really interesting. Is what it is. I'm happy with it. Following that, we got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Fire and Desire. This is kind of a nothing match. I don't really like either of these teams. Sonya Deville is really the only like girl here. I'm like, yeah, that's my one. But her and Mandy Rose. I don't know why people like Mandy Rose. I really don't get it. Like, people were chanting her. Like, part of me thinks it's ironic. Like, I really don't get it. Like, this is like one of the most obviously. The same thing with the Iconics, though. Like, people think they're funny at least, though, even though I don't. But one of the most obviously like bad characters I've ever seen. But whatever. Sonya's not super interesting either, but at least she like is a cool. She's got a cool outfit, and she's a pretty good wrestler. And meanwhile, Nikki is kind of awkward. And Alexa is like they're a really weird duo. Like, they have their moments, but like at the same time, it just feels really forced and weird to me. I feel like that is definitely not where Nikki was intended to go. So they're kind of like flipping her around, but it is what it is. They retain. I believe it was a clean victory. Nikki got the pin over Mandy, which I was happy about. Following that, we got Shinsuke and Sami Zayn versus The Miz. Sami Zayn is just on the outside, and he's talking shit to The Miz on the microphone. Yeah, I actually really like this. They finally are using Shinsuke for shit. The Miz, you know, he's taking a lot of L's, but at least this one was for nefarious reasons. Sami Zayn and Shinsuke, I think, are actually a pretty, like, fun, cool way of using both their characters. Shinsuke's new outfit was kind of weird. But other than that, you know, not really a whole lot of complaints. I think Shinsuke might be able to turn this Intercontinental title reign around if he keeps up stuff like this. Following that, we got Sasha and Becky. This was a pretty long match. It was a long... Like, I love Becky. I love Sasha. Becky had a really good promo before the match also. But, like, and my girlfriend, like, Becky Lynch is her girl. And so we were really expecting this to kind of be a really cool match. But the way it ended, it was kind of dumb where Sasha got a chair. And there's this little moment where she did, like, when the ref had his back to her and got a chair shot on Becky. And I really thought she was about to lose the belt. But following that, Becky tries to hit Sasha with the chair. Sasha dodges. She hits the ref. During this time, there's just chair shots everywhere. The ref literally died. He was just on the ground literally for minutes. He falls to the outside and just stays there for longer. And then Becky and Sasha just go to the crowd and fight. Eventually, they're just like, oh yeah, the match got called off. Becky disqualified. Yeah. It's kind of a dumb finish, but it was like, they need this one to last longer, I guess. It's kind of like, just have like a draw. have them like double count out or double knockout. Like, just make them both look strong. Don't make it like this. I don't know. I thought it was a dumb finish. But pretty good match. Otherwise, they had a lot of good moments. Like a lot of really close tap outs. Like both of them like had like these little quiet tap outs, which I really liked. Like that the ref didn't see. It was a lot. It got intense a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. Following that, we had Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. I don't know why people are chanting for Randy Orton right now. I really wanted Kofi to win, obviously. I think he's having a really great run. I'm loving everything he's doing. The finish to this match was great. It was poetic justice that like he was supposed to get punted, and that's what started this whole thing 11 years ago. So this time, he doesn't get hit. He stays down for the punt this time, but he reverses it. Trouble in Paradise, knocks out motherfucking Randy Orton. But otherwise, this was a great match still. I know some people in the crowd weren't really, vibing with it, but I thought it was really good. Randy, like, has, like, these little, like, there's one moment where he did that twist move he does, and he had, like, the same fucking moves, but they're great. Randy is consistently great, and I hate it. Another match, we had Eric Rowan versus Roman Reigns. This was no disqualification match, so there was a lot of weapons and shit, but this match got boring quickly. I'm sorry. Like, I really want to like Eric Rowan, and like, but this was a really dumb feud that got dragged on for, like, it was just little trickles of information, and it was so fucking dumb. But Eric Rowan, towards the end, I was like, okay, he's just gonna get buried. There's not really a point to this. I didn't know how Daniel Bryan really fit into this. And then it all made sense when my girlfriend was like, what is that cameraman doing? Or no, she was like, who is that? And I was like, oh, it's probably a cameraman. And then fucking Luke Harper emerges, of all people, inserts himself into the match. They beat down Roman Reigns. Eric Rowan in 2019 gets a pay-per-view victory over Roman Reigns. What? And Luke Harper, good to see him. It's weird that a bunch of guys who I thought, like Sasha Banks and the Revival and Luke Harper, just on this pay-per-view looking good, winning championships, making returns. Like, what the fuck? But that's what happened. I don't know how, but that's what happened, and I'm all for it. Again, this match was I wasn't really into it. The crowd definitely was, at least around me, people were chanting, this is boring, like, really going hard on this match. But it won back around, and I only got so much time left, so following that, we had Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman. This was actually a really good match. It was a lot of what you would expect of Seth trying to cut Braun down, and Braun, getting offset whenever he could. Seth got a stomp out of nowhere. Braun kicks out at 1, another stomp, 2, another stomp. I think he got out of that one too. And then Braun also like jumped off the top rope. That was pretty fucking dope. And there's one point where he crushed I think it was this match where the tail, he just crushed it. Like it was falling apart, and he was like holding it together, and then I was like, ah, fuck it. And it fell apart. That was funny. Other than that, we had Seth winning after the pedigree. That was cool. And then the Fiend fucking showed up. It was great. The Fiend, that's going to be the next rivalry. They have to give the belt to him. There's certain matches where the fans are on one character so much, and they've already given him the opportunity at this point. So yes, they have to use the Fiend. They have to give him the goddamn title. I am so happy to be a Bray Wyatt fan. I'm currently editing a big-ass video for Fandom Pop about The Fiend. You should all go and watch it. Great pay-per-view. I was actually mildly surprised. It was a very good pay-per-view. WWE is turning around. I'm going to be watching All Elite Wrestling as well, so great time to be a wrestling fan. Hell fucking yeah, I got 5 seconds left, and with that, I leave you.